crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, Roota.com with your morning horn as your sip of chaga coffee. Oh, the worst part of being a hodler is hanging on for dear life. Is the time it takes. If you could take yourself right now and your investment position and move it into, say, 1 year from today, do you think you'll be more happy or less happy that you didn't sell off all your assets and run because that's what the banks are telling you, that's what the economy is telling you, that's what with all the markets going down, that's what it's telling you. I've been through this. Again, this is my third full time. At my first one, I would call that the original slam that I lived through, was the $1,100 down to $100 or $200. And I sold all my cryptos. Worst mistake I ever could have made. I didn't think about the future. And I didn't think about why I was investing in cryptos and silver in the first place. It's for the end of market manipulation. Clearly, cryptos are the best performing. Bitcoin's the best performing asset of all, even being down so much. It's the best performing assets of any asset over the last 10 years. And I believe that if you sit and wait between now and next year, if you had an instant go forward machine, you're going to be thanking your stars that you hung onto your silver, hung onto your cryptos. Now, the moments that it moves are tough because they're rigged. All this is controlled by computers and derivatives. Actually, the crypto viewing guys did a remote viewing of the guy. There's a single guy orchestrating all this stuff, probably out of the New York Fed and the U.S. Treasury, or maybe even higher than that. He sits there with a talisman, an object that he has all these computer rigging personnel who execute his orders. That's the way it goes. That's the market we live in. If you look at last year's inflation rates for June, July, and August, they were completely flat. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, have we turned the corner?" What it did was set the stage for a year later, when July, August, and September, they were flat, and they will absolutely be blown out of the water this year. Yeah, we have the latest is Biden will call on Congress to pause gas tax for 3 months. Basically, 18 cents per gallon is the federal tax on gas. They say, oh, that's for roads and bridges and all that. Who knows where the tax money really goes? But it's a gimmick for the election. The election is going to be big. The Democrats have to do something gigantic. I don't think this will do much. It'll add inflation in the long run because removing of the gas tax is going to increase demand. That's the problem. This is a demand-driven shortage of gasoline because of refining. If refineries can't, if you don't let the market work by itself, I don't know they should have done this a long time ago. I don't think there should be any tax on gas. I don't think there should be any tax at all, truthfully. Other than, for basic necessities. People need to learn to take care of themselves. Other than that, the free market will not work. So removing a gas tax for 3 months is a gimmick. It'll do two things. It'll increase demand for gasoline, which is the worst thing because the gasoline inflation obviously is demand-driven and supply-driven, like a normal market. If you don't have additional supply, what are you going to do? We're going to wait in line for it'll just the numbers will just jump right back up if the gas tax is removed. We'll see what happens, or they'll spend their money on something else, creating inflation in other places. But definitely the Democrats are looking for something. I think their number one thing is going to be this. I can't talk about it because YouTube will probably kick me off. Night of Rage, flyers spotted in D.C. ahead of Roe versus Wade decision. The Democrats need something this big. They need rioting in the streets. And this is actually calling for rioting in the streets, which is crazy. And that's this week. So if you live in a big city, hunker down. Protect your house. I don't know what to tell you. Because if this decision comes down, we're looking for chaos. Also, as far as the gas and energy. Secretary Yellen says the only way to fix the energy crisis is to move to renewables. I don't even know what to tell you with that statement. That means if we push further, I mean, one of the biggest problems is all the refining capacity that got taken off. Half of it was because of renewables. You got to change your refining capacity to, deal with ethanol, which is the craziest shit ever. Taking corn and making a fuel out of it when the whole world's going to be starving soon. I just, it's hard to sit here and watch this go down, but it's all part of the plan. Janet Yellen is, she does what she's told. She says what she's told to say. She always has. I met her actually in late 1990s when she was the head of the Fed in San Francisco. Clueless. She gave a speech on, it was a small group of bankers. She gave a speech on how China is, you should invest in China. I'm like, well, what happens when we no longer friends with China? What's that going to do to the dollar? What's that going to do to manufacturing capacity? This was in the 90s. She's screaming, oh, everybody should invest in China. Build out the foreign countries so that they can take over our manufacturing capacity and absolutely screw us. Such short-term thinking. But she did what she was told. That's why she got into her position. She always does what she is told and says what she's supposed to say. So, crazy, crazy shit. The other issue was, where is it? There was another big one. Nope, the gas tax, that was it. What I wanted to talk about briefly this morning, if you go to roota.com, you can see, you go about a little bit down the page, there's an analysis that I did of the Road to Roota Teacher's Guide. This is the comic books and information that came out of the Fed that started the Road to Roota theory. Click on the Teacher's Guide right here. This is actually a private road article. So all you private road members, you can get access to this pretty easy. If you want to join the private road, it's $2.99 for a year, and we send you the silver Roota coin. But it talks about all the problems that will be faced when we make this transition away from unbacked fiat money to a new form of money, or an old form of money, if it comes down to gold and silver. But I was reading through it, and it's a pretty long discussion, but it lays out everything that the Fed and the Treasury and you will be dealing with as the old system collapses because of the derivative complex collapse. And we start a new system, and nothing can be decided on by any of these people. This is the Fed talking. There are 60 questions that the Teacher's Guide talks about when going to a new form of money that cannot be answered by people. It would have to have a decider. Is there anybody we would trust? When the old system dies and the new system starts, is there anybody we would trust? No. You got to trust standalone assets in your own possession. That would be silver, physical silver in your own possession, physical gold in your own possession if you don't understand silver. I mean, the only reason to own gold is if you don't understand what silver is. Because every argument for gold is the same argument for silver, except there's a better one. There's a better reason to hold silver as money than gold, and that is all the bankers have the gold. They have massive amounts of gold. They don't have massive amounts of silver. And all the bankers will be looking to buy silver. All the bankers will be looking to buy cryptos. Cryptos are the future of pretty much everything as far as our economic system. Silver is a way to profit from the manipulation of 170 years of price suppression. But all you got to do is be able to, if they click a mouse and put silver at minus $40 and Bitcoin at minus $40, will you still be able to hang on to your assets? If the answer is yes, you're fine. Because they can put everything to zero. They can shut down all exchanges with a click of a mouse or a statement by the SEC. That's how fragile the system is. Anyway, all you private road members, go and check out the private road. All the questions, I go through a lot of them, and I give my answers, but my answers are not necessarily, I mean, if the Fed can't answer these questions, who is going to answer them that the whole population of the globe will say, yes, that's what we're going to do? NESRA, JESRA, quantum financial system, none of that. None of that. There'll be nobody with the authority, with the trust to implement any of that. The U.S. will go back to its constitutional money. Gold and silver as money. Yes, there's not enough silver. Absolutely. They'll be trading at 1-to-1 as far as purchasing power. Cryptos, yeah, they'll do well probably after the crash. And the crash meaning the banks shut down. No more 401k, no more stock market, bond market, commodity markets, none of it. Warren Buffett called the weapon of mass financial destruction the derivative market. And that's where we're headed. I hope everybody can see that by now. And the only way to survive it is to get your assets in your own possession and wait. If you haven't bought cryptos yet, great time to buy. Go get yourself a Coinbase account. Do the homework. Go onto YouTube. YouTube is an encyclopedia of crypto information. You got to sort out the real stuff from the fake stuff. But if you want to get involved in crypto, now that you know, oh my God, it can go up 60,000. Bitcoin's going to go up to $1 million a coin. It's the dollar that's dying. And cryptos are a great way to move forward. Not all of them. Most of them will go away. And that's probably the hardest part, is picking which cryptos will stay. Theta is necessary as a technology for the future. So I highly recommend you own a majority of your cryptos in Theta. It'd be hard to regulate it away. Bitcoin, yeah, it's the first mover. It's probably it will most likely be around. I don't think it's the most useful, but we'll find out, right? I do think the people within the U.S. government invented Bitcoin. I think Satoshi was part of the U.S. government. The plan was that 1 million tokens that Satoshi has of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash now will be used to implement a new financial system within the United States. Every other country can do what they want. Truthfully, there's going to be no agreements. Certain countries will favor cryptocurrencies. Certain countries will favor an oil standard. Countries with a lot of oil would love to go back to the petrodollar type of thing. Countries with a lot of gold would want to go to a gold standard. Countries with a lot of silver. Mexico will definitely be on a silver standard. Yes, Trump was right again. They are going to build the wall and they are going to pay for it. Mexico, because they're going to try to keep Americans out of Mexico, because Mexico will probably be the richest country in the world. They have the largest silver deposit. So keep all this in mind. Go to roadtoroota.com. Go check that out. If you're not a member, hit subscribe today, and we will send you one of these, a silver Roota coin, the coolest coin ever, hand-painted. If you don't know what I'm talking about, dive into the Road to Roota. Go to roadtoroota.com and dive into all the public road documents. These are all free. Just click on the public road, and you'll go down Cliff High interviews, all kinds of stuff at roadtoroota.com, and sign up for our free emails, name and email address right here. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you later.